Hey everyone, welcome to Colorbar. I'm Kim Updike. I'm here with Betsy Davis.
What's up, everybody?
And we're getting ready to talk shopping. Betsy?
Love it, love it. So really excited. We have the one and only Patsy Koepke with us today. Our new Chief Revenue Officer from Sandy Alexander has been with us for 4 months, 5 months. I don't know. It feels like 7 years probably at this point.
7 years and 5 months?
I like it. I like it.
7 years and 5 months. Nice to see you.
I like it.
So Patsy is definitely, we say this all the time, that we want the opportunity to level up and give us opportunities to just be better as a company. And I would say that Patsy is definitely bringing that plus some to Sandy. She's one of the most passionate people I know about what she does. She's been doing for the last, over a decade, focused on retail and the brand experience, and she's bringing all of that knowledge to Sandy Alexander. So welcome, Patsy. Glad to have you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. So happy to be here with
Good.
you fine ladies today and talk shop.
Talk
right?
shop, talk shopping.
Super exciting.
We're not going shopping?
No, Kim, we're
just
gonna
talking
hear.
it?
We're just talking it. We
Oh.
can go shop later.
Okay, all right.
I like it.
All right, well then let's get right into it and talk brands if we're shopping later.
I was thinking about before joining both of you today, where did my passion from brand come from?
Yeah.
So
And?
And?
Well, I tell you what, so grew up in Indiana on a farm, right? Lots of cornfields in the state of Indiana. But
Love it.
I would get these beautiful catalogs in the mail and magazines, and I literally used to cut out all the different brand ads and tape them on my old farmhouse door. So I was always envisioning the brand experience at a very young age,
So
right?
you were doing in-store signage before you even knew
I
what
was
that
craving
meant?
on my farmhouse door in Indiana.
That is
right?
wild. That's what I call the ultimate vision board. I'm a
That's
big
right,
vision
yes.
board person. You created yours. You didn't even know it whenever you were
Right.
12 or 13 or whatever.
Yeah. So I think that passion came from such a really, really young age, and it's just been such an honor to help execute on some of the top brands
Yeah.
in the world, right?
I love it.
So,
How's it been at Sandy so far?
oh my gosh.
How are things?
Such an honor. What a full circle experience. So Betsy and I have actually known each other for a couple decades, right?
That's right.
So
Yep.
That's right, you guys have worked together before.
yes.
Yes.
So,
When we were just young tots, before you had babies running around.
yeah, exactly. Now
wild.
they're stinky teenagers.
Well, teenagers do love the mall.
Oh my gosh, do they
So,
ever?
are your teenagers mall people?
So it's so
Are
funny.
they shoppers? Did you raise shoppers?
Well, I definitely did in my daughter Lila. That's for
Okay,
sure.
all right.
So fun. So actually recently, one of her best friends turned 13 and all they wanted to do was have a mall experience. Like the kind we used to.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember your first mall experiences at that age?
Oh my God. The first thing that comes to mind, sadly, Glamour Shot.
Oh yeah.
Remember
I've
Glamour
I have
Shots?
one too, Betsy.
Yeah, we'll have to share our Glamour Shot pictures. We actually
missed
looked
that.
at Patsy's earlier today. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. I look like I'm 45. I look like the age that I am now when I was 14. So that was my Glamour Shot experience. But
A lot of hot rollers for those glamour
oh my
shots,
God, hot
right?
rollers and hairspray for sure. Kim, what about you?
No, I was not a glamour shot kid. I had combat boots and black lipstick, and they didn't let you in the booth at that time, so no. I was a little,
I mean, I'm here for that look too, right? All the fashion things, I love it.
all the fashion. It was a fashion statement.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe my parents have destroyed all the evidence. So.
That's hysterical. What about you, Patsy? What was your first mall experience in
Oh my gosh,
Indiana?
I think I can taste Orange Julius right now. Can anyone taste
For
that, right?
Sure. Yes. At the,
food court?
Yeah.
Yes. At the food court.
When I was doing my mall walk for inspiration of what's happening, I have to tell you, Kendra Scott had the most unbelievable window setup going on. So
what was happening?
They had, it looked like a glass pane hanging, and it was floral with this green that we're talking
Okay.
about, the green moment, and pink happening going on too. So that's another hot color for spring too. And they had the products displayed in bird cages. So
Oh, cool.
it actually was made out of acrylic.
The bird cages? or the window?
The window.
Okay.
And so just so impressive. And actually it was so fun. The store associate said they were so excited to set up. It was their favorite execution that they've ever set up, which I thought was really cool. But capturing like the colors of the moment and then their own product, right? So they have some new product lines coming out for Mother's Day that are in their new green, they actually had a storytelling signage in the back of the store that talked about green is the moment, right? And to highlight their product. So I thought so well done.
Yep.
Using different types of materials and textures really to enhance the customer journey to bring them inside. So I thought that was a really fun trend.
Yeah. So you brought up the bird cages. Are we seeing
was gonna
more
say,
windows being a lot more the
dimensional?
three-dimensional, or?
Absolutely.
Like coming into a different, kind of space as in 3D and kind of
Yes.
taking it up.
Taking it up a notch?
Yeah,
Yeah.
to kind of help, with the whole consumer experience once they get into store.
100%. I think what's so fun is just to see how each brand takes a different approach with their customer journey and creating those brand loyalists and using all different kinds of materials and layering. I did see a lot of clings being applied either on the outside or inside of storefronts, props. So have you heard of this brand Artesia? Have you been to one of their stores before?
When I lived in Chicago, they had one on Rush Street that I went to a few times. So yes, yeah.
So
It's a new one for me, so what's it about?
yeah, so based in Canada, they've had such great success there, and I would really call this an emerging brand in the U.S. And I had not been in one of their stores, and so when I did my tour of this Orlando mall, did they capture my attention? So they used products that were in the windows that were based upon artwork of a photographer. So they actually had floral, where I was saying floral's having a moment, right?
Yep.
You're seeing
Right.
these pinks
Got
and
those,
greens.
got those, got
You got
those
that-
great shoes
Yes,
going.
right.
Okay.
Well,
That's
Betsy,
cool.
you always have amazing shoes. I had to step
I'm
up
a
my
little on the
shoe
boring
game.
side today
Yeah.
with the shoe, but I'll bring the shoe moments.
I
during
mean, I've had the
photo.
opportunity to travel with Betsy a lot, and I had to step up the shoes. So I'm having my
These are
shoe
cute.
floral
Those are
making
cute.
mental
moment.
notes.
Yeah. But this experience was very unique. So had these floral arrangements that were done huge in the backdrops of their product, right? So I just thought that was so neat. And they talked about it in the front window of the journey, right, of how this was an artist's photography that was brought to life in their window displays. But such a laid out, thoughtful approach to how you walk through, and all the products were set up, and great signage that was talking about how you could live in everyday luxury. They had a
Like
monitor.
the way that sounds.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
A digital screen that had people working in the work clothes, which I thought was really neat experience there too. But every single one of their locations, they utilize the local community and artists, and all the materials are set up a little bit different. Even the music that's in each location has a different playlist depending upon if you're
Love
in
that.
Chicago
That's
or
great.
in Orlando. But I cannot
it's
wait.
smart though, because that's
Yeah.
really making a national brand feel very local,
That's right.
and having it kind of its own take on the market that they're in. So
Exactly.
what resonates in Orlando may be completely different than Chicago. So I think that's really cool to have that type of footprint, but make it feel very local to the space that you're in.
Listen, we just did the Glimpse event. We were talking about hyper-personalization, but they took it kind of into store. Like it feels personal, at least to the region or to the city. So I love that. I haven't heard of that before.
before.
So do you know, I don't know if you spoke to anybody in the store, did they, like the artist that was shown in Orlando, are they doing that same kind of artist concept across the country, or?
That is my understanding. I
Okay.
can't wait to go into the Atlanta one and check it out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
To see how it compares. But I did think that was just a really thoughtful approach, right?
Yeah.
To brand loyalty and going back to my daughter in the mall experience, right,
Yes.
with her friends.
That cracks me up. I
Yeah.
mean, I when you told us that the other day when we were getting ready for this conversation, you're like, no, she wanted like an 80s mall party. I'm like,
So fun.
is there a resurgence of the mall? I guess there is. So that's super cool. I think that's great.
Right.
I think going into store is, really enhances the whole connection shopping experience. And, I'm assuming retailers would rather have you, be present so they can connect with you. They can, have you become part of the brand and build loyalty that way.
Look,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have to give a shout out to one of my favorite stores. We actually were talking about, what are the brands that we're in love with now? Like we
Right.
talked about the brands from the past, but so I'm obsessed with Ever Eve. I think you actually are
Ever Eve
rocking some
pants.
Ever Eve
Yep,
today.
Yep, I am.
But again, being personal, like I actually went into the Tulsa location just a few weeks ago, and the girls that are there every time like immediately came up, gave me a hug. They're like, "Oh, Betsy's here. We got this in shop. We got this." Like I literally get the catalog. I have this handy just because I knew I was going to make sure I brought up this brand.
Yes.
But it's like Toys R Us for me. Like I get the Every catalog. I'm not kidding you guys.
You circling pictures and making
I'm not
lists.
kidding. I get my Sharpie out, and if anybody knows me, I always have a Sharpie on hand, and I go through and I circle it and I write a little list and put how much it is, and then I get to the end of the catalog and then figure out what are my must-haves, what are my would love to have, and I walk in with a catalog and go, okay, girls, it's time to go shopping, and they just start picking out stuff that I've got circled in the catalog. So anyway, but I love it because it feels like I'm at home.
Yep.
They've made it a very personal experience for me, and they've gotten to know what I like, and so so that's my.
I think they've done
that's
a
my
really
new
good
moment.
job with that because I love that brand too.
It's so fun.
And it does kind of have that local, we know you, personal, kind of personalizing the shopping experience. So when you go in there, they're there to help, and I think they do a great job of personalizing it.
Yep.
And both
And
of
making
these-
it fun. I mean,
Oh, I have too much fun.
you have to.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know, I should not step in here because I know I'm going to leave with way too much because they make it so much fun. They just start throwing stuff over the door, and you got to try this on, you have to try this on. Next thing you know, walking out with 2 bags in hand, but it is what it is.
I think you're going to start tearing pages out of that catalog and taping them to your door at your house like I did when I was younger.
There are probably pictures on my vision board at home from this catalog, knowing me. Wouldn't
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
What else?
That is.
So how our shopping, we talked about this, how our shopping experience has evolved. You talked about having a digital screen in store. What else is, what else is happening? Like I think about, we talked about this the other day too. I'm in love with an outdoor mall. Like what else is changing? Like are you hearing from the retailers that we work with, like how it's changing from an in-store experience or just?
And is there a shift, right? So it seems like with the younger generation, like your daughter or whatnot, that actually going into stores or going to the mall, so is there a shift or a place for that emerging now versus online? I know that online has a convenience to it. Obviously, they've talked about AI as far as having, your own AI agent, which I learned the other day at Glenn's.
Learning stuff, learning.
I pay attention.
Thank you.
It doesn't always look like it. And, so I know that there's a convenience for, online and the AI and the personalized shopping experience, but it seems that going out and connecting, especially with younger people, it is brick and mortar, making somewhat of a comeback.
Yeah.
And what that experience looks like when you're in the store.
Absolutely, and I see that so much in my daughter and her group of friends because, that generation Alpha, right?
This is new.
Did we run did we run out of letters?
We ran out of
Did
letters.
we run out of letters? Is it like a hurricane? We ran out of letters, so we're going to the Greek alphabet. I'm like,
Yeah, we went from, I guess, Z to Alpha. Yeah, so again, learning.
Learning. Yes.
Keep going.
But this is a generation that's been fully
Digital almost,
fully
right?
digital,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that has been their journey, right? So I think that there's this passion for wanting to have that personal connection and to be able to go in and have an experience with her friends and shopping.
And it's social. I mean,
It
it's
is.
fun.
It is. And I love, like Aerie I think does a fantastic job where they have these moments of an Insta moment, right? So
Yep.
even when they went on their mall journey experience, her and her friends were all getting their picture in that area, right? So creating that brand loyalty for the next generation and having the experiences like we did when we were that age. So I do see a shift. I think when we're all being hit with so much mixed media and through the digital space, it's nice to be able to go and
Take a break from it?
experience and take a break from that
Am I allowed
in
to say
person,
take a break
right?
from it?
You can say take a break from it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's real.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've also kind of heard that there's also a trend with kind of mainstream brands. Sephora was mentioned, kind of taking a page out of the playbook from luxury brands as far as the customer experience and elevating it for when you do step into that space. Have you seen that?
Absolutely. You're seeing so much more experiences happening in the store, whether it's a live demo or an opportunity to do a virtual try on, right? So
Right.
maybe they might not have this amazing jacket that you've got on today, Kim, right? And you're in the color you want, but you could see like what it would look like with a virtual try on and a pop of pink, right? Or
Right.
the green that we're talking about at the season. So I think the more connection too that can be made from their online shopping experience to in the store and having consistency there. And also making sure that there's an authentic tie back to some of their staples and what made the brand iconic to begin with, right? So it's a blend. It's a harmony, a blend of not just the current trends that may fade out, but making
Right.
sure that their iconic items that have made the brand known are also weaved into that customer journey, I think is important too.
Yeah. You're talking about trends and nostalgia has come up, and
Yes.
we just talked about the catalog. What
Yes.
J. Crew has done right now with bringing back the catalog,
Catalog.
which, again, J. Crew is one of those brands that I immediately think of too, one of those that I immediately kind of resonated with when I was younger. But they, one, have done an amazing job of the PR talking about the catalog. But when I
Yep.
was researching it and talking maybe Gen Alpha or whatever Gen we're talking about, but they were going online and buying older J. Crew catalogs and spending like $40 on eBay to get a J. Crew catalog. But anyway, so J. Crew has brought back the catalog, and I think it's just amazing. They've done a fantastic job of pitching it. Even now it's on Instagram, getting people engaged. I'm going to be really excited to see what that does for J. Crew and their brand and bringing people back into store. And anyway, I just think it's interesting that they've kind of gone back to their roots, and hopefully,
Well, and you keep
for us as
them.
printers, we're hoping they start a new trend
Yeah.
of people bringing the catalog back. Yeah.
But you do. But you also, I think, hold on to them. You know, I mean, like you might be flipping through something on your phone, but when you actually get something physical in the mail, I know at least for me, and you carrying around your catalog in your handbag, you know, in case you run across an Ever Eve store.
That's exactly right.
No, I mean, but you do. You hang on to them. You know, you look through them. You may look through them, you know, a few more times. You know, don't you remember always dog
earring, yeah.
dog earring? So, I definitely think that there's a resurgence of that, and I think that you know helps build the brand, helps bring loyalty, and you know drives traffic into the store. I mean, I would assume they want to drive traffic. I know everybody wants to drive traffic, but I would think retailers want you more in store than online, or is there a combination? Or is there a fine line, or a balance maybe is a better way of saying it?
Absolutely both, right?
Right,
So
yep.
I think we all know online shopping is not going away,
No,
right?
right.
But there's a convenience factor with that.
There is. I think it's both.
Okay.
It has to be both, right? So that you can get the experiences on both sides. What about pop-up shops? Have any of you been to a pop-up shop?
I was
That
gonna
absolutely
ask-
is a
I was
trend. We
gonna
didn't have
ask-
pop-up shops that I can recall.
We did
when
not. I
We
was
did
gonna
not.
ask you
Younger.
if people are doing that
Yeah.
more. I think, and is it the brands that we've been talking about, those classic brands that we think about, or is it mostly coming from emerging brands? What
I think
what's
both.
happening?
Who's
Testing a new
popping up?
market.
I don't know.
I don't know who's popping up.
So Rare Beauty has a phenomenal pop-up shop they just did in New York City that
Okay.
was a huge, really opportunity for them to showcase all their new products. And again, I think anyone that can capture those new brand loyalists and get them in to try their product, right?
Yep.
Is fantastic. So I think we're going to continue to see that, whether it's an emerging brand or a retailer going into a new market and they just want to
Test it.
test and learn has always been vital in this business, right? When you're talking about retail and brand execution, for sure.
My other question is for you, just thinking about executing that. Like we talk about these brands and they're all over the country, all over the world.
yeah.
And you're working with these brands every day that are having to execute against it. Like, what are those things? Like, we talk about technology all the time, and we talk about these things. Like, what are they tackling with behind the scenes? Like, we get to go into the store, and it just all looks
Right.
beautiful. And
It looks great, and
like,
yeah.
you see all these things at Kendra Scott and all these other places, but behind the scenes, it's like those crazy moments that we all have. What are the customers struggling with or trying to tackle right now?
Yeah, there's so many different variables that go into play that happen before you see that full execution, from the photography, right? How are you creating living in the moment? That's a big buzz that we've heard for quite a while now, is making sure that the products, that the consumer and the customer feels like they can live in those products, right? So that comes all the way down to the photography and
Does that
how
go
it's
back to
being
living in
shot
luxury?
and the lighting.
Yes, you're stuck on that
I
living in
got
luxury thing.
stuck on living in luxury. I haven't moved on.
Yes, yes. And the brand colors, right? Making sure again that you're having a tie back to where the brand originated from, but being able to showcase the photography in a meaningful way that the customer is going to think about how that product is going to make them feel, right? It's making that connection. I think what was really interesting that I noticed as we moved to spring and summer, all of the window banners that you would see and different signage throughout the stores were showing the models, right, and the photography on vacation, right? So when you think of summer, like, oh, that amazing dress, if I saw that in the window, I'd be like, I want to see how I could wear that on a trip coming up this summer, right? Making that connection again. Whether it's leisure wear, right? So it's summer, maybe there's more times you're outside, picnic, right? But having photography that really makes that connection of how that product that you're selling is going to
Work in real life.
Work in real life. That's right.
Yep.
That's exactly right.
Yep. Yep.
An application. No.
Yeah.
Well, then what are you buying for spring and summer?
Well, they're able to collect data on us now, right?
Well, of course
A little too much.
Something that's
a little too much
changed
data
from our mall experience when we were
Right.
younger, right? We weren't taking scans off signage or window banners, right, with our phones. I mean, I didn't have a phone.
So the QR code is having a moment in store too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Everywhere I saw has some sort of type of ability to scan. I actually, Crate and Barrel, for their spring and summer launch, you can scan to see the full options there are for patio umbrellas. So all the different options that are out there, from colors and bases. So I don't know about you, but I always need a good patio moment for the summer. So I thought, brilliant, right? So you might be able to see some items in store, but what else is available to you? So I think that is not going away. It's just going to continue to evolve, right, into more ways to interact with the customer. So going back to that test and learn, right, there's data coming out of that you might tweak for the next campaign of how to capture your audience better or give them the information that they're needing, right, to make that purchase, right? It's all about the journey to make the purchase in store.
Yeah. Well, I love how they're bringing, still, we talked about the online, but they're bringing the online opportunity
in store, right?
And still having that digital moment but still being able to do that, to your point, in all the different channels to be able to make that happen. It's crazy.
So you'll start to see the vision boards and everything set up in our retailers and their corporate offices. So there's so much behind the scenes that goes to happen into the biggest show for our retailers for the year to really boost those Q4 sales. It's unbelievable the amount of time between the creatives and all the marketing and brand execution teams go through to make the big show of holiday happen. So it starts now.
It's interesting. When I first came to Sandy, I had never been kind of around the in-store experience for retail.
I hadn't either. That was all
and
new.
all of a sudden I understood what Christmas in July meant. I mean, it means one thing to shoppers, but it means a lot to the people that are actually executing against it. Yeah, I mean,
And it happens early and earlier, right? So when did you remember seeing holiday campaigns go up this last year in 2024?
It felt like before Halloween was over. Or
Yeah.
back to school. Like I felt like it was back to school and it was Christmas, like immediately.
Absolutely, and I think some years it's been very interesting being more focused on this side of the business in the last decade. Is that some years it pulls much sooner. We'll start seeing campaigns release early, and then sometimes it might pull back because they're waiting to see, where things rolled out of summer, like into back to school. And sometimes it could be a new product's launching and they want to have a bigger moment and wait till they have imagery and testing back from that to make that big push. So I'm super excited after seeing everything for spring and summer that we're in the windows and in the in-store environment. The mix of all the different materials.
Well, the innovation is kind of cool.
It is.
I mean, it's not just, but posters and clings, but then taking some of that up to the next level with it being dimensional. I think that's, very innovative on how they're able to do that with different textures and things like that, kind of rounding out the experience.
I'm totally going to shift gears on you a little bit. Something you said reminded me. The sustainability conversation, I mean, that has to, like, when you talk about the three-dimensional, and you talk about all the things, what are we having to think about maybe on behalf of our customers when it comes to sustainability?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking about green being the
the
color
color
of
of the year,
spring,
right?
right? So I think that we're really seeing a comeback in making sure that that's a priority in many different brands that we work with. I think the biggest opportunity a lot of our retailers are seeing is in their evergreen signage. So
What does that mean?
Yeah.
so in between
Learning something.
another
Learning.
evergreen, right? So when you're not in the middle of a season or a specific promotion, they may have branded items that they want to put up during that time period so that you don't have an empty space, right? Or it could be highlighting clearance of going out of a season and they're wanting to move product. So those items are meant to live evergreen, so longer in the store. They're past that 30 or 60-day life cycle that they're
Got it.
being displayed. So you want something that's durable that can go in and out, being stored typically in their back rooms. And you need it to be easy for the associates to put back up so they can get back to the customer when they're having these setups. But that's an opportunity to find more sustainable materials, right? Where there has been trends of using materials that might be not as environmentally friendly and not being able to be recycled. So I'm seeing a trend of coming back towards that. And certainly with the materials that are being used for the promotional season, those are being thrown away pretty quickly. So how can you have opportunities that have a material that can be recycled and being thoughtful with the type of execution that's being used?
I've also seen our partners on the substrate side being really in tune and focused on trying to find opportunities for us to bring more sustainable products to our customers in the retail.
Yeah, uncoated materials having a moment for
Yep.
sure.
Yes.
Coming
They are.
back, right? So I think that's really fun to see imagery printed on those types of substrates too, and how you can still make the color absolutely amazing and pop, but have a friendly environmental situation happening at the same time.
I don't know. I'm kind of loving that uncoated moment too. Like it just feels warm and cozy or like personal. I don't know what it is about that moment, but I love it. I love seeing our clients doing it.
Yeah, I've never been a glossy person myself.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
I
I
forgot
like a
dog
gloss on a
collar
lip,
and black
right?
lipstick. Yeah, surprise.
never really been a glossy person myself, but I do think that I love the uncoated. I mean,
Yep.
uncoated look. It just has I think it has an elevated feel to it. And if you can, with the color and how it can, pop off the page, I think that speaks really nicely to brands and their image.
Yep. Well, listen, this has been just really fun. I mean, just us
super
girls,
fun.
us girls sitting around talking shopping.
Shopping.
Like I want to do this all the time.
Now you have to take me shopping.
We can do this after
Okay.
we wrap today. You and I can go shopping, and I'm going to see if there's any trends out there that I'm crazy
See
about
that.
versus not. But I do want to make sure that we have an opportunity to talk about. We talked about Glimpse, which we did our first one.
Yes.
I don't know, a month or so ago, which was so much fun. Quite the undertaking.
Yes.
But we have another one coming up this summer. We're going to talk more about retail. Talk a little bit about kind of what you're planning to visit about during Glimpse this summer.
Yes, so thrilled to be able to have the spotlight on the retail side of the business for our next Glimpse. So I think all these things we've been chatting about today, how to build a great loyalty program. I know that is something that's super important for our partners on that side of the business. What are going to be the up and coming seasonal trends for holiday? How are we going to drive that foot traffic on that big moment of the year?
Yeah.
How we're utilizing technology, right, too, whether in the space, whether that's utilizing screens, like I mentioned earlier before, to show how you can live in the moment of your clothing. So these pop-up shops, I really think we're going to see that continue as we move through 2025.
And data as far as personalization in your shopping experience. You'd always mention you love a good personalized catalog.
I mean, I would love for people to start doing more personalized
You know,
catalogs.
just like
Yeah.
we know that, Betsy, we know that these are all the things that you've bought. So, hey, here's us
Go buy
helping.
more of it.
Go buy more of it,
Yep,
Betsy.
Yep. Yep.
And experiential environments, I
Yeah.
really think we're going to continue to make that customer connection in the store, utilizing product, try-ons, virtual try-ons. Like, how are we going to make those connections in the store? So I
Yeah.
cannot wait
It's gonna be
for
great.
us
It's
to
going to be
bring
great. I'm
some of our
super
thought
excited. It's going to
leaders
be super excited
Yes.
about it. Yeah.
to join us and hear directly from the brands and their experiences and how they're bringing their products to life. It's going to be so fun.
It
I
is going to
cannot
be
wait.
so fun.
I'm here
Yeah.
for it.
All
I am
right.
Let's
too.
do it.
I am too. All right.
Well, I have to say this was super fun. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
being
thanks
here.
for being here and
Thank
hanging
you
out
for
with
having
us.
me. I'll hang out with you
course.
ladies anytime you
Let's-
want to have me
All
on
right.
Colorbar.
Well,